Hi. We're back for a new The Corporate Live show. Sean again. And today, you want to stay tuned today. Today we have an exciting show. Today we have a really, remember we're dealing with the future, right? So that's our favorite thing. We alter our future. So today we want to talk about a very, very important thing. There was a survey online by a reputable survey by this company or organization, and they came up with a stunning figure. Close to 70% of adults in the world have not heard of metaverse, NFT, and cryptocurrency, or blockchain. Blockchain, even less people will hear about it, and that's disturbing, because so much is going on in terms of where the world is going, the rapid speed with which change is happening. This new world is opening up. I want to talk about it today from my own research, because I look into these things, right? And my own research, my own thinking, my own opinion and views, and what I conclude the future, because we're talking about the future on this show, the Corporate Life show. So join us if you will, if you're getting the notification about the show. Join us because we want to talk about cryptocurrency, blockchain, NFT, and metaverse, and how it impacts you. It's tremendous information you're gonna get within the next hour. So please join us, or if you're listening to this broadcast after the live is aired and it's the recorded version on YouTube or Facebook, our Facebook page, Future Stars Media Enterprise or Qualped, or my personal profile is always on there, and a bunch of groups as well. But wherever you encounter in the video, even if you're watching it live right now, I would like you to kind of join me in this excursion of exploring the world of cryptocurrency and blockchain and NFT and all this magnificent thing that is going on, where the rich people, including Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, they're all jumping on board and investing tremendous amount of money and energy and time and promoting this kind of idea. Why are they doing this? Why is Elon Musk, the richest man in the world right now? His company is going, $1 trillion company, and all the other Zuckerberg at Facebook, the same thing. They're promoting things like the metaverse, NFT, cryptocurrency, and blockchain. Why are they doing this? And how does it? Of course, if they are doing it, these are the brightest people in the world, the most intelligent people, the most far-sighted people, the people who have built tremendous solutions for the world are now jumping on this whole new bandwagon that a group of other people are discounting and discrediting and saying, oh, it's a fad, it's a trend, it's going to go away. But if it's going to go away, these bright, brilliant people who became multi-billionaires and built trillion-dollar companies from nothing, from ground up, we can't take what they are saying for like with a grain of salt and throw it through the window and say it's a trend or it's a fad. These people are not stupid. They wouldn't go on a trend or a fad. They would they know the research, they know the information, and they would say the only way they would do something and put their time into it, because they're so busy, is if they believe it's true. Is if they believe it's the future. It is the future, and let's look at that. So today we're going to dive into that. It's a lot of information, and I hope we are able to, I hope I express myself clearly is one, but also I hope that I don't overwhelm people with too much information, because it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a tremendous amount that is going on. I know we're in the midst of COVID, but we're preparing for the world of post-COVID. That's going to be, which is between say 2022 and 2025, we're going to transition to a world of, which is, we can call post-COVID. The history we would see is divided into pre-COVID, and then COVID of course, and then post-COVID. And post-COVID, we're going to see a world where the United Nations would have implemented by 2025. They might have to push it back a couple of years, some of the goals, but 19 goals at the United Nations called the Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs. So 19 of those goals, they're groundbreaking, from guaranteed basic income to universal health care globally in every country, and universal secondary education. All those things have to be implemented by, like, as human rights by 2025. It might push it a few years, because I don't think they're on track to keep their timetable. But we're going to see significant changes. We're going to see climate. Of course, we're already seeing the climate agenda is tremendously influential in how politicians are working out their policies today. And so we see many countries, Canada, France, all over the place, they're banning gasoline cars from about 2030, 2035. From then, you would not be able to buy a gasoline car. All cars would be electric, and you would have, instead of gas stations, charging stations. So tremendous future is coming after COVID, post-COVID. And the third thing, of course, that is going on is the Great Reset that Prince Charles from England really was pushing through the World Economic Forum. So the Great Reset is a complete reset of the world system, the social system, and the economic system, and the technological system, and everything, which we see President Biden is implementing in the United States with a $4 trillion budget for infrastructure and social reset of America. The whole of America is being reset right now under a $4 trillion plan that President Biden has been able to implement within the first year of his presidency. So tremendous changes are going on, and we need to take that into consideration. Like a lot of us, we go about our days, we mosey along, and we say, oh, whatever goes on with the world, I'm going to ride the wave and come out at the end. Yes, I mean, most of humanity would be like that. We're speaking to people who don't want to be like that. We want to ride the waves of change and come in on the ground floor and really, because we're futurists, that's what we do in the company. We're a future-based organization or company or enterprise. And of course, our goal, our vision is that everybody should be authoring or writing their future. So you invent a future and you write it and then you live into it. That's our thing. So we're futuristic in nature. And so we look into the future, and we want people who are of that mindset to, those are the people we speak to, right? We don't speak to you if you say, oh, you know what, I'm going to do my thing, and whatever happens tomorrow, I'm going to roll with the tide, which used to be the case. Pre-COVID, that's how every human being lived, right? You had the big leaders, the big thinkers, the big visionaries in society, and the big corporations who would set the agenda for society. And the rest of us, we just follow along. We just live, and became employees and workers and consumers and, producers, and that's who we were in society. Workers, laborers, those things are changing, right? And so the individual now is empowered. The older people don't get it. They don't get it. And I talk to old people, not old people, but people of an advance, people in their 60s, 70s, going on to 80s, even in their 50s. People don't get it that the world is changing, and we're going to see such fundamental change that people who are retired and people who are of that age, they don't care, right? Because it's not their thing. It's not their world anymore. They pass it on to us. I'm not young, but the younger generation. And people younger than myself, people in their 20s and 30s and 40s and stuff, and even my age, we are moving into a new world, and we have to be aware and be conscious what that new world is and how we can prepare for it, right? So that's what we're going to do on the show. Now, so we want to talk about, let me answer one question, which is, why is it that cryptocurrency and which is Bitcoin and Ethereum and all those coins that are out there, and NFT, and also blockchain, because everything runs on blockchain, right? NFT and cryptocurrency and all that, metaverse, they're all going to be linked in with blockchain. So we want to explore this, and because there's a lot of mystery around it, there's a lot of not dark, but cloudiness about it, right? A lot of people don't get it, and to do the research, it's not easy. The terminology that these technical people use, right? You gotta weed through the terminology to come to the understanding of what it is. Now I'm gonna I won't delve into deep stuff, because there's no point on a video that is 1 hour long and it can be on YouTube and all that. You don't want to, delve too deeply into the background of these things. So I won't. But I'm going to say some important things. And in an effort to say not what these things are, but why these things are. Why we are moving into a new world of cryptocurrency and NFT and blockchain running the world, running our lives. Just like AI would be running, artificial intelligence would be running our machines, and they become robots. All machines are going to be robots, so they're going to be robotic in some way. From cars to washing machine to vacuum cleaners to your stove, your fridge, all utilities, everything is going to be robotic, being operated by AI, which is artificial intelligence. And then on top of that, you're going to have the metaverse, which is all AR, augmented reality. And the metaverse is basically, oh, that's huge. The metaverse, people think the metaverse is a different part of the internet. It's another version of the internet. It isn't. It's a new space that is opening up. A space where our physical world would be enhanced and augmented reality, right? In a space that where we could dress with our, if we're ugly in real life, we look beautiful in the metaverse. We can make ourselves perfect. In other words, we don't have to go about in the world polishing ourselves and, oh, my clothing and my fashion and my posture and all those things, tone of voices. In the metaverse, all that is going to be, you set it by your settings, right? So the metaverse is a new space that augments the human being, and that's tremendous. We haven't even seen it yet. But I'm not going to get into AI, artificial intelligence, or AR, augmented reality, or virtual reality on this show. We talked about that before. We're going to talk more about it in the future. What we want to talk about today is cryptocurrency, NFT, and blockchain. They're very, very important. If we don't look into this, we're going to be left behind. And I know a lot of people don't mind being left behind because they're not visionaries or original thinkers. But that's fine, that's fine. People choose to live how they want to live, right? For us, we're looking for that niche of originators and visionaries and people who want to create and write that new world into being. You have an imagination of how the new world should be, what problems of human nature and human civilization that we could solve and contribute through the metaverse, through blockchain, through cryptocurrency, through NFT. Then that's the kind of people we're talking to, right? So hopefully I have a few on listening to me or will listen to the video. I know a lot of people will listen to it in the future because what we say is important, right? It's not trivial stuff we talk about. We plunge deep and we're offering substance. Cryptocurrency and NFT and even the metaverse, they're based on blockchain, right? They're based on the blockchain technology. I won't get into blockchain. It's all on Google. You can find that. But basically, what this so let me, before I say what makes an NFT valued at millions of dollars, worth millions of dollars, I'm going to explain that from my perspective, and you're going to see why I think these things are actually not a fad or a trend, but a whole new future post-COVID. First of all, let's look at something. Let's look at money, because cryptocurrency, I really believe this, and this is going to sound crazy. And by the way, we're coming out with our own cryptocurrency. Watch for it very soon. By the end of the year, we're going to have the Qualpec coin on the cryptocurrency exchange, and it's going to be available. And I'm going to ask you to go and trade that coin and make it, popular. But we're working on that right now, that technology. So we're building our own cryptocurrency because we believe in this thing. We're investing in this thing, right? This new future that we're going into, the new media, technology, and of course, publishing of our Sims books, the new future of books. We believe in these things and we're pushing through as hard as it is, and it's not easy, especially in COVID, to get these things done. And even to get people to believe in what we're doing, right? It's not easy. People don't see the vision. They don't see it and they want to live their own way. That's fine. We're going to show them what is possible, and hopefully one day their eyes would be open. But we have people who support us too and understand what we're saying. So it's a nice feeling to know that we're advancing into the future, not confused, not panicking, but creative and purposeful and intentional in how we're moving into that future. Let me say something. Cryptocurrency, this is my belief, this is my firm belief based on research. Cryptocurrency will replace money. And let me explain that. I know it sounds crazy. Cryptocurrency will come very soon, not 10 years from now, maybe less than 5 years. Cryptocurrency will replace money. Here's why I'm saying that. money as we know it today, which is fiat money, right? And it was once tied to gold, and then now it's not tied to gold. It's fiat money. It's what the government says, legal tender. So what money is a means of exchange. We exchange goods and services, and the means for exchanging those goods and services. This is basic economics, right? You know this as well as I do. The basic means of exchange is this money, this thing that is backed by government, given authority by government, a piece of paper or a piece of coin that, or of course digital currency. I mean the original, well not original, the traditional digital currency that the banks just transfer, e-transfer and all that. These things are backed by government, and it says legal tender on it, and that gives it some value, that gives it worth. But it also gives it scarcity. The government says we're only going to print a certain amount of money per year. Of course, now they're printing a whole bunch of money, but still it's limited, right? Money has traditionally been a scarcity, a limited thing. You had to do a lot to be able to exchange something for something else, right? Like thousands of dollars for a car and that kind of thing. So keep that in mind. But I want you to hear something. Money, as much as today, money seems to be embedded in the human condition, in human society. Money is an invented thing. There's a book by a guy called, I think, Jacob Goldstein or something, who wrote a book, I think in 2020. The book was released. It's called Money. and the subheading for the book is called Money by Jacob Goldstein. If you get it, check it out. Take a read of it. It's kind of dense, but it's worth it. And the subheading is the true story. So the story is true of a made-up thing. And he said money is a made-up thing. And this book talks about the history of money, right? How money was invented and how it became a centralized government legal tender that gives us a means of exchanging goods and services, and it enhanced civilization. It did a lot, yes. But money was not always with man. At first, ancient times, we had a barter system. And then we had, of course, the first money, centralized money system was in China like 1,000 years ago. But it wasn't global. It became global around only 500 years ago, when money started to be printed, after the printing press was invented, right? So that's only 500 years ago. Civilization is thousands of years. But before we had bartering, and after bartering, we had a kind of gold and silver coins, right? But it was, of course, gold and silver, they were scarce. So that in itself was a scarce means of exchange. And then, we had the legal tender come into being when Europe became the center of civilization, or the center of the world, or the center of the dominant global empire, whatever you want to say. So money kind of evolved from bartering through different systems to what it is today. Here's what I believe. And you're going to say this is crazy, but years from now you're going to tell me that not years from now, very shortly, you're going to tell me that I foresee these things, because I'm telling you, here's what's based on research too, not only my foresight, but also when you look at history, when you look at how human society moves, what we are seeing today is the end of money. It's the complete end of money. We would not have, I'm talking 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now max, we would not have the financial system in the world that we have today. And I don't want to get into what would end this system, like fade it out, but let's talk about what is coming. The new system. The new system is completely going to be cryptocurrency. We won't have dollar bills and coins and banks trading money like that. We won't have that. It's going to be cryptocurrency. Even a lot of central banks, right now the Canadian Central Bank and the US Federal Reserve have cryptocurrencies. They've invented their own cryptocurrencies. It has a weird name, Central Bank Digital Currency or something like that, which they're going to put a name to it. But they've invented their own cryptocurrency. This is preparing for the future. Because we're going to see an end of money. Here's why I say that. What we're going into post-COVID is a world that is completely transforming from how human beings on the face of the earth knew life before. Now, that is a hard statement to understand, because we tend to think, how could we see such revolutionary, radical, absolutely transformative change within one generation, within a short time? Just post-COVID, which is between 2022 and 2025, we're going to see a complete transformation of how human beings live, and what we're seeing is a brand new space opening up, which is the internet transforming into what they call the metaverse. But it's much more than the metaverse. It's a new space. It's a new dimension. We no longer live in a three-dimensional world. The metaverse is going to open a whole new dimension where we can play, entertainment, education, business, government. People are going to vote with cryptocurrency, blockchain, not cryptocurrency, but blockchain technology. Now, bear with me. All this thing going to make sense eventually. So I'm convinced that we're moving into a world where there's a brand new space which would augment reality, which would magnify reality. Reality as we know it in this physical space is going to be so different, but better, nicer, more pleasant. It's going to be more, and it's going to enhance how human beings live, human nature. It's going to fulfill what this technology guy Doug Engelbart wrote in his paper back in 1962 called Augmenting Human Intellect. The metaverse is going to do that. We're going to see more intelligence, more knowledgeable humanity. And of course all our machines will be so intelligent because they have AI. So we would have to smarten up, and we will smarten up. So the metaverse is an augmented human society, right? Global society. And we got to prepare for that. That the future post-COVID is about a new space that we're going to be playing in. Completely new space. Not the physical space that we have. Everything around us will be connected to that space. Everything is going to be through the Internet of Things. From stoplights to road crossings to our cars, tables, fridge, stove, furniture. Every single thing. The glasses we wear, of course, AR glasses, right? They would all be connected to the metaverse. They would all be hooked up to this space that we call in digital space or virtual space. So physical space, which is limited, you know that, by gravity and all those things. And creativity, you can only do, like if you need to make a table, you need a skilled construction furniture maker to make that table. In the metaverse, you can make your table. Of course, it's a virtual table, but people sitting around on the table in the metaverse having dinner and stuff like that. You can do it. A creative digital graphic designer can do it very nice, very using software. But our life in the metaverse, we can't imagine it. So listen to me talk, but don't try to imagine it, because we're gonna live in that metaverse. We're gonna live in that metaverse. And it's going to be astonishing, it's going to be amazing. It's a new space. And the physical world, everything in the physical world will be connected in that new space. The physical world is going to be like, how should I say, our limited thing. It's limited. And the way we make it, there are some values. There's so much to say about this, I don't know how to. We're moving into a world. The reason I say money, we're coming to the end of money post-COVID. We're coming to the end of money, because what's going to take over are values. We're going to be living for some values. Now, I know what's in your head, right? I know you're thinking, what is this guy saying? Money, value is going to replace money. Let me show you what I mean. Let me show you how that is going to happen. So, post-COVID, bear in mind, which we won't get too much into, that this new space is opening up called the metaverse, or whatever you want to call it, but it's a brand new space where we would play, we would work, we would meet with people, we would party, we would do everything in this metaverse. And everything in our physical space would be through the Internet of Things connected to that space, and that space is going to dominate our lives. Physical space would have no value, zero value, when compared to this virtual space, this new space that is opening up. It's a new realm. It's a new universe. It's like, what people don't realize, that physical things are the least real things. Think of it. Life itself, we would not be alive if we didn't have life. And when we breathe that oxygen in and breathe out carbon monoxide, or whatever we breathe out, carbon dioxide, the very nature of life that we breathe, even the air that we breathe, it's not physical. Life is not physical. What we breathe in and breathe out is not physical. You can't smell it, you can't hear it, you can't taste it, you can't. It's it's in a dimension that is not physical. People don't get this. For years, the industrial age lived for 100 years or more, thinking that the whole reality is rationalism and reality is physical objects. Well, this whole COVID time is turning all that on its head. That's why people are so confused, and they're protesting, and they're like in torment because people think, what is going on? Life as I knew it is not how it was. Did I know everything wrong? And there are things out there that I didn't realize. True, that is so. So the augmented space, the augmented reality space, or virtual space, or digital space is more real, more powerful, more dynamic. We can do more in that space than we can do in our physical space, right? So one of the keep in mind that one of the changes that is coming post-COVID is that we're going to add a new space to our life, which is a new dimension. Excuse me, and that dimension is metaphysical in nature. Right? It has to do with frequencies and vibration and energy and lights and things that are not physical. But that's going to be our life. Our life physically, we will transcend to that life. Now, if you think that is crazy, look at this. We're human beings. Our real reality, let me say this, I'm going to say this. Our real reality is we're naked human beings. But we don't walk around naked because we don't want people to see that reality of us. For whatever reason, ethics, morals, decency, whatever you want to call it. We dress with fashion. We cut our nails and fix our hair and comb our hair. Comb is one of the most produced commodity in the world, to comb people's hair. And then fashion, of course, is huge. What do? We augment our reality. That's what we do. We don't walk around as we are. Even people who don't have clothes, they won't find. Even people who don't have anything to augment who they are as a human being, they don't walk around like animals. No human being, unless crazy ones, walk around like animals, with no augmentation of who they are. No dressing up, no creating a different, how should I say, being than just a human being. We're a human being with fashion. We're a human being with morals and manners, and so we add these things to the humanity of us. In fact, that's what makes us humanity. We're just humans until we add all these things, and then we become humanity, right? You get it? My point is, human beings, what we call reality, even that we don't accept as reality. We add to it. We keep adding to it to make it more and more real, more and more augmented is the word, right? Magnified and real. So I want to make this point and really embed it home for us that what is opening up post-COVID is a brand new space, and the ramifications of that are enormous. Because when you open up a whole new space and you diminish what mankind has known forever, which is the physical space of the earth, suddenly it's like the industrial age was able to, for example, penetrate vertically with high-rise buildings. Before that, all buildings were flat and horizontal. But when the industrial age came, buildings could go 30, 40, 50 stories, and now you have buildings like CN Tower and all the tall buildings in the world, massive buildings going up into the heavens, into the sky, So whenever we see an advance in human civilization, there's a kind of transformation of our concept of space and the limitations of space on the earth. And that's what we're seeing going on right now. We're expanding space in what we call the metaverse to go beyond limitations. No longer is space scarce. So land and real estate and all that, the scarcity that drove and is driving right now value and worth would disappear, right? Because abundance is the new space metaverse, which people are already buying land in. Like Snoop Dogg bought land in the metaverse. A bunch of people, Gary Vee, this big influencer online, bought land in the metaverse. And a whole bunch of people, rich, famous, sensible people, are buying land in the metaverse because that's the future, not the physical world anymore. The physical world still is there. The transition hasn't happened yet. It will happen. They got to change laws. Like it says in the Bible, they're going to change the seasons and the times and the laws. those things will change. What I want to drive home tonight for us is that the new world is about a completely different space that we will be moving in, and we need to prepare for that. That is key. That is crucial. You gotta understand that. Now, what are some of the reason I say money is going to be there won't be money in the future is because in that space there's no need for money. Let me explain what I mean. How are we going to eat? How are we going to buy stuff and all that? Yes, we're going to talk about that. How are we going to pay bills and all that, right? We're going to talk about it. So there are three things driving NFT, cryptocurrency, and blockchain. Three things driving them. Three values. So what we're going to be exchanging in the future. Now on a 1 hour live, we can dive into some of these things, right? We can only touch the surface. But basically what I'm saying, the reason we won't have a money system. When I say money, we're going to have cryptocurrency, but not money. Cryptocurrency would not be money. It isn't money. A lot of people say cryptocurrency is money. It isn't money. And I need to really write these things out and get them out, because as I'm studying it, I'm starting to see the real behind the scenes stuff, right? That is not in the pop culture. Now people say it's money because they want you to engage with them and buy it and take it and empower them, right? So they say, oh, it's money, come and get some money. And so people are getting in because the old language is luring them in. But really it's not money. NFT is not money. It costs $4 or $5 million, but it's not money. I'm going to show you. What NFT is a value. So we're moving. Mark Carney, who wrote a book called Values, talked about post-COVID that the world would move away from a profit-based world, from a money and materialism-based world, into a world of values. And I was puzzled by this because COP26 came last November, last month in Glasgow, England, and he was supposed to push this idea that we got to change society away from the profit motive into values motive, and I didn't see it happen. And globally, people stopped talking about it. And then I realized, looking into NFT and all that, because we were getting into the space, that NFT in the future, all our transactions would be through NFT. NFT means non-fungible token. The word fungible means, this is very important, this is very, very crucial. What is driving the new world that we're moving into, this new space that is opening up, that we're going to be functioning in and living in and become a new human consciousness in, which is the metaverse, what we know now as the metaverse, which is a word that doesn't in any way describe what it really would be. Facebook is building it, Microsoft, Google, all these big companies, they're building that space out, right? Of course, it's going to be resident within servers and server farms and hard drives and all that. And of course, 5G, that's why US is bringing in 5G global, nationally, people are fighting it, but 5G is going to really drive that space. Because internet is important. The whole space would be within the frequency range of what we call the internet, which is driven by a language. We talked about this before, the language of binary, right? Binary language is what drives that space, just like the physical space. What drives physical space? The alphabet, the 26 letters of the English alphabet. Some languages have more letters, but basically the alphabet is what drives physical space. Language defines it. We can't know this is a table, or that's a camera, or that's a laptop, or you're a human being, or I'm a people without language. We define everything by language. We name everything. And that's how we function. That's how we navigate the physical world, by being able to use language and words. Well, in the new space that is opening up, there is a new language, which is called binary language, or quantum computing as well, which it's advancing into. And we won't get into it, but that new space has its own language, and the language created the space, right? So these are profound things and deep things that I'm putting in my novels and all that, but it's also relevant to our enterprise and what we're doing here, and how we educate ourselves on the future. You know, Northrop Frye talked about, he has a lecture that he did at the Massive Lectures. There is a book I have on my bookshelf, and it's called An Educated Imagination. That's what we need to live with to move into the future. We need to educate our imagination. Our imagination needs to be educated, and we share that. We don't keep it to ourselves, right? So the future is about this new space within the language of binary, which we know of as the internet, but it won't be the internet. It's going to be a brand new space that would supersede and augment physical space. I want that idea to stick with us, to be embedded in our mind as we consider what we're talking about in terms of NFT, blockchain, and cryptocurrency. So my contention is, because of this new space, and in line with what Mark Carney was saying. Mark Carney, if you don't know, I talked a lot about him in the past, but he was the former governor of the Central Bank of Canada and also the former governor of the Central Bank of England. Very, very important guy in the world, and he's taken charge basically of the clean climate agenda. And he talked about building a new world order, a new system. So what we're going to see post-COVID, and within a few years of that end of COVID, from 2022 onwards to about 2025, we're going to see the economic system of the world will be completely transformed. Completely transformed. We won't have the economic system that we have today. And so the economic system that we have today is based on fiat money, or is based on legal tender, right? Legal tender, which government says, we back this currency and therefore it has authority and you can exchange it for goods and services, right? So if you have a currency that does not say on it legal tender, is not real money. It's fake money. So real money, money itself, is only backed by government, and those terms, those words, that language, legal tender, is what makes it real. Without that, it's not. It has no value. Now, having said all that, we're replacing that monetary system that runs the global economy today with a new system that is based on values, completely based on values. These things I can't get into deeply on a 1 hour live. And how long more do we have? Okay. Let me see if there's any glitch in the sound or something. Yep, it's good. Great. All right, thanks, Mano. So we're gonna replace money. This is crucial. We're gonna replace money with a value-driven system. So you're gonna be paid for stuff. Paid wouldn't be the thing. You're gonna be rewarded, I guess, by a value system. Let me explain what I mean. It's complex. It's a bit complex, but bear with me. 3 things are driving NFT, blockchain, and cryptocurrency, which is why Bitcoin is now close to $70,000 per coin. It fluctuates, it goes up and down, but it's going up. It could end up to $100,000 per coin. Bitcoin, it only has 21 million coins out there, so by the time they hit their limit, it's going to keep going up, right? What is driving Bitcoin? What is driving Ethereum? What is driving cryptocurrency? And why are all these celebrities and artists, paying huge money for NFT? They're driven by 3 values. And this is what I want to talk about today. The value, there's a new world opening up, and the world is going to respect these 3 values. That's the only thing that's going to matter. Not money, not materialism, not how much stuff we own or don't own, not or how good we look or whatever. 3 values will drive the new world, the new system that is coming into place, that is being implemented. And it is being implemented. There are thinkers behind the scenes who are making this happen. Originality, and I'm going to explain what I mean. The 3 values we're looking at today is originality, decentralization, a decentralized network. So remember that. Originality, decentralized network, and the 3rd value is verification. So let me get into this. So remember, what I'm saying is the old world that was based on materialism, consumerism, and money, physical money, that was centralized through a government, is crumbling. Well, no, they're dismantling it, is what I should say. They're dismantling it. They, right? Don't ask me who they is on who they are on public, right? Ask me behind the scenes. So they're dismantling the system that is based on materialism, consumerism, and money, or physical stuff. They're replacing the world system with a new system that is based on 3 values: originality, and I'm going to explain what I mean; decentralization, and I'm going to explain what I mean; and network verification. Verification through a network. That's the future. So the whole new space that is opening up, that we call the metaverse, for you to play in that space, for every human being is going to be in that space. Whatever we do, education, business, entertainment, art, whatever life we live in that space, we would have to obey the laws of these three values: original, decentralized, verification through a network. That's what I want to talk about today. That's what I believe the future is all about. The future is all about originality, original stuff. The future is all about decentralized system of trading and bartering. Basically trading, means of exchange, not even trading or bartering, means of exchange would be decentralized. And the third thing is, everything that we do must be verified by a whole network, what we call nodes of computers, millions of computers around the world. So that's the future that is opening up post-COVID. Now let's get into those three things quickly before we run out of time on the show. Originality. Why are NFTs going for such expensive prices? Why are people taking out this money that eventually would be worth nothing, right? Because the old money system they're going to get rid of that system, and it's going to happen. I suspect before 2025 we're going to see the money system that we know completely abolished, just like gasoline cars are being abolished. The same thing. They don't want to panic people, so they don't come out and say if you have $1 million in your bank account that your money would be worth nothing. They won't say that, but it's going to happen. I don't want to panic people. I'm just saying they're going to put things in place. That's why the SDGs, the 19 Sustainable Development Goals, are coming into place. So those goals got to be in place before this financial system goes through that massive revolution, right? The old getting away and the new coming in. But the reason NFT is so people are pouring money into it now and putting so much, what they're doing is putting value and worth in it, right? Forget the money. What they're doing is why is an NFT so valuable and worth so much? There's one simple answer, which nobody's talking about out there. You go YouTube, you go Tumblr, wherever they're talking about these things, and Instagram or wherever, nobody talks about the value that is within NFT that is making it worth so much. And that value is one simple thing. It's an NFT represents originality. So an NFT, the metaphor I have for it is this: if you have an original artwork in your house as a collectible, let's say a Da Vinci piece, or Leonardo da Vinci, or who else is great? I forget who else. Or an original copy of, say, the first book that was printed, which was the Bible. 49 Bibles were printed by Gutenberg back in 1450 when he invented the printing press. Those Bibles, 49, are available in the world, and they sell for millions of dollars. Why? Because it's the original copy. NFT is so valuable because it's original. So you create something that is original, and that because it's original, the value, the worth is enormous. So the same concept that goes for art, that goes for original collectible stuff, that these rich people would invest in. You know what rich people do, right? The millionaires and the billionaires. They don't put their money in the bank, you know that, right? They go buy artwork, and like Jay Leno would buy classic cars, original cars. And these cars, he has like over 500 parked in his garage, classic cars, and each one is, maybe $500,000, maybe $1 million. And that's his investment. So the rich people, that's what they do. They invest in original artwork, original creations, original stuff, collectibles. That's what NFT is. And that's why it's so valuable. Now in the future, at this exact same time, simultaneously with carrying that value, an NFT of originality, it also functions as a contract. This is the, how should I say, original thinking, to use that phrase, of NFT. It's like an invention of a new money, an invention of a new form of means of exchange, right? It's an invention just like bartering system came to an end ages ago, and money, gold and coin and silver came to represent means of exchange. You can exchange things and do it instead of bartering. You do it with gold or silver, and then eventually printed money and all that. It evolved like that, right? It's evolving again. It's evolving into a new form where we're exchanging stuff only with NFT. Everything we do in the future will be through NFT or some blockchain technology. We might call it something else, but NFT is the starting concept of the overall idea. NFT is the starting product, I should say, of the overall concept, the overall idea. Right? Now I want to make myself clear. So at the same time that NFT represents originality, here is why it represents originality. Because when you create, and let's say right now NFT is just JPEG files and little videos people do, right? So graphic artists will create these things. But it's going to be much more than that in the future. This is just the starting of it. But the concept of it is that the original is traded and is valuable. And the original is in an NFT is what you see, the image or the video or whatever. That's not the real thing. I mean, it's the real thing because that's the product, the physical thing that you see or you encounter. But behind that is of course encryption, right? So the encrypted key, which is locked into a blockchain, is the real NFT. And that encryption code, which is a bunch of digits, right? Boring stuff that if you see on a screen you wouldn't even look at it, but these they call them Bored Ape and all these NFT images that they make, it's fun and interesting and entertaining. But attached to that, behind it, in the blockchain coding, the encryption that is locked into a blockchain is, and I'm talking about these things. I'm assuming that if you're watching me, you know something about these things. So I'm assuming that certain information I don't need to get into. But maybe if you need to do more research, it's all available online. So the NFT is really locked into a blockchain with a secret key, a code, right? And that code, that secret key, is the real thing, is the original thing, cannot be duplicated. Now you might say, yes, an image can be duplicated. Yes, you can copy the NFT image or the video or whatever it is, like the Bored Ape or whatever. You can do a million copies, but you cannot copy the original code of the first one. You cannot, because it's locked in the blockchain. And that blockchain, so the first value that will drive the new space of post-COVID world is originality. Whatever is original is going to have a huge worth and huge value. People want to copy it after, but it won't. The original creation, the original creation is where the value and worth is. So originality is the key thing. But also attached to that simultaneously is NFT has evolved into a kind of a contract. It is a classic way of doing contracts. So you can own your house, your car. You can, like self-driving cars. 10, 12 people could own a self-driving car, and they all have the NFT of the car, which is the ownership of the car. The license to own the car is in a contract that is locked into this code in blockchain that is unchangeable. The thing with a code that is locked in to blockchain is unchangeable, it's uneditable. You can't edit it, you can't change it. You can't. Maybe you could erase it if the original creator of the blockchain went in and programmed it like that. But you and I create an NFT on a blockchain system like Ethereum or something like that, it is unchangeable. The original is always the original. It never changes. It becomes like Da Vinci art or some collectible. It's so rare because it's the only one that exists in the whole history of mankind. And that's where the worth of NFT is coming in, because it's original. But at the same time, we attach a means of exchange to that original work, which is the NFT and the back-end coding that makes it original. We attach to it a means of exchange, a contractual means of exchange. So it sounds a little bit complicated, but because of that brilliancy, somebody was brilliant to do that, or maybe it did it by itself, just how the nature of these things work. Because it's original, you can easily say, this is a means of exchange that I can take my original NFT, my art, my whatever it is original that I create. For me, books, right? We're going to make our book covers NFT, and those going to be original and always be original. It won't change, and even if somebody copies 1,000,000 of it, the coding is different. The digit that names it, the file behind the scenes, is different. You get it? So the file name is what I basically am talking about, which is not a file name, it's an encryption code. The original is unchangeable, and that's where the value is. And because it's so valuable and worthwhile, you could use it, NFT, as a means of exchange. So I can have an NFT and I can exchange it with you for something else. But the original doesn't change. It's complex. We got to get into that. It's evolving as well, right? But the first value of NFT is originality. That's why it's so valuable. The second is important as well, which is decentralization. Decentralization means, so here's how money works. For all of the past, say, in fact, well, since fiat money was founded in China 1,000 years ago, but even more so since Gutenberg invented the printing press and government started printing money. Since fiat money came into, which is centralized money, came into being, and civilization, got an economic system, money and economics have been centralized. So only government can set, only a central bank, or in America and India and stuff, the Federal Reserve System, could say that money has value. You can't say money has value. I can't say money has value. And money is not original. If you have $100, you can give me the $100 and I'll give you $250. You still have 100, but you don't have the 100. It exchanged hands, it changed hands, right? And an NFT is different. You can't do that with an NFT. You can't take an NFT and say, this is the original and we're going to exchange it for something else in a different form or shape. It can't change its form or shape. So it remains original. It's kind of a mystery around it, but I hope we need to grasp it in our understanding, even though we might not be able to express it the way we should. So, because of originality, it has value and it has worth, the NFT. But behind that is the reason that it can stay original and nobody could question its originality. This is important. Nobody could question the value of this thing, that it is original, because it is on the blockchain in a decentralized system. So for the first time in human history, this means of exchange, this powerful thing that we call money, but in the future, of course, digital currency is what we're calling it now. But digital currency, cryptocurrency, whatever name we put on it, in the future, it won't be money, it's going to be something else. And that would have the value of that, the integrity of it would be based on a decentralized system. So governments cannot control that new system that is coming. It's decentralized. And the technology makes it that way. It cannot be, the government can't come in and say, we're going to centralize this whole thing. Because the technology that runs it, which is blockchain, causes it. One of the side effects of the technology is decentralization. So for the first time, we're going to see power. Throughout history, the centralized power has slowly diminished, right? We had, in the ancient Egyptian empire, you had the whole power of society was in the pharaohs, and they said, oh, we're gods, and the Egyptian citizens and stuff, you had normal human beings had to bow to them and say, oh, you're God. And we even had this in the Dark Ages and stuff. Monarchies came and took over society, and then of course governments, whether communist or capitalist, democracy or dictatorship, the government became the authority. We're the authority, you bow to us, then you obey the laws, and corruption and all that exists. We have a centralized system even in democracies, where the government says, we're going to decide the value of your money, of what you earn and what you spend and how much you spend on groceries and food. We're going to even put a value on food that you can't plant. You can't, unless you get a license, you can't plant your whole yard and your front yard and your lawn and your herb and all over the place with plants and vegetable and fruit. We're going to tell you that is against city by law. So this human society has always been centralized. It's been so centralized that everything had to go up to the authority. We got to pay taxes, we got to do this, we got to do that. And I'm not saying we won't have to pay taxes in the future, we will, but the system for the very first time in human history would be decentralized because of blockchain. So we're going to be trading NFT, and we're going to be in a decentralized system of millions and millions of computers, what are called nodes, and those computers would verify our transaction as this thing has originality. This NFT or whatever it is has originality, and therefore it has worth and it has value, right? So remember the three values we're dealing with for the future. This new space that is opening up would be things that are original, things that are decentralized, not in the control of any one authority, and the third is verification through a network. Of course, decentralization, that's what it means, right? So you buy an NFT, or you trade the ownership of your house, or you trade the ownership of your business or something, anything that is in a contract form. So everything tradable in the future, all means of exchange would be by a contract. That is your job, how you get paid at work. When you buy anything, what you're saying is, I'm signing a contract with you that you exchange what you have there because I want it, and I'll exchange with you this that I have, which could be an NFT, right? Or part of an NFT, because when you create an NFT, you could build in the contract royalties and percentage. It's complex. You can research it and check it out. But the idea I want to get over to you is that we're jumping into that space so much because I'm so excited about it, because we realize that what is driving the new world post-COVID are values over and above materialism. And there's a simple reason for that. The physical world is diminished. It's totally diminished right now. It doesn't look like it because real estate prices are jumping and everything looks chaotic and confusing. But trust me, the physical world is going to be so, how should I say, unreal. It's going to be so unreal. It's going to be so belittled and disrespected in our minds that we wouldn't even consider our physical space. Because you can't beautify your physical space as much as you can the metaverse. We're going to dwell in the metaverse, we're going to live in the metaverse, we're going to be excited in the metaverse, people are going to have sex in the metaverse with robot avatars and all that. All that is going to happen. That's the new world we're moving into. And because of that new space opening up, we don't need physical money anymore, and physical money wouldn't exist anymore. What would exist are means of exchange, which is what money is right now, but then we won't use money as a means of exchange. We can have a different thing like NFT. NFT is the starting point of it, so we don't know how it would evolve and how dynamic it would be, but it would maintain these three values: originality, decentralization. So basically that's democracy at work, right? Decentralization. For the first time in human history, the economics of life would be decentralized. We would control it, not the government. And of course the other value is everything is verified through a network of users, of computers, of nodes all around the world. Like we're running cryptocurrency, we have like maybe I shouldn't say this publicly but we have about maybe 8 or 9 graphic cards, and there's in the system maybe 4 or 5 computers, 1, 2, 3, yeah, something like that, and a bunch of hard drives, 8 or 9 hard drives, and it's all among us. We have this system that is mining cryptocurrency, and what those things are, they're nodes. They're nodes that verify transactions. Whether Bitcoin, well, Ethereum mostly we do, and it verifies the transaction. So that is a crucial thing. The value of verification that something is original by a decentralized system of 1 million or more millions of computers, right? That's what the future is about, and that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. And I hope it kind of makes sense. I hope if there's, I know it might not be fully clear, but if there's any lack of clarity around it, feel free to reach out to me. We can have a dialogue on this. We can have a conversation. We're getting into the space, so look out for Qualpet Coin. It's coming very, very soon, and I'm going to ask you to help make it popular, right? Because we're going to be doing our book covers as NFT and all those things, and releasing our Sims books in the new year. That's why, I was waiting for technology to. Our books is not books, right? They're more. It's a technology. It's a new way of telling stories, Of course, it's the future of books. We call it the future of books. But just like there's a cryptocurrency is the future of money, Sims books which we invented is the future of books. And I'm excited about these things. I'm really excited about these things. And today I just wanted to say why NFT, blockchain, and cryptocurrency are the future of this new world that is opening up post-COVID. The world of a brand new space for mankind that we've never known in the history of our civilization. There's a story about something called Atlantis, excuse me, where there's this mythology around this place called Atlantis, which they say sank in the Antarctica, and it's there as an advanced civilization. They don't know what happened to it disappeared, or it's there hidden somewhere in the world. There's this mythology and kind of stuff around Atlantis. The world that we're moving into is that it lines up with that kind of story, that kind of mythology and fairy tale kind of living within the Atlantic world, the Atlantis world that is in folklore. I don't know if you heard about it, but it's a very popular thing. If you dive into conspiracy theories, they will tell you a lot about Atlantis, right? So the future that we're going into is basically duplicating that very, very advanced civilization that is embedded in the story of Atlantis. So it's a brand new space which is called the metaverse, and basically how we're going to live in that space is only trading. The means of exchange would be original stuff like artwork and contracts that are original, that are unchangeable, that are uneditable, untouchable, because they're verified through a network of decentralized nodes or programming, right? A program that is decentralized verify this thing, and so nobody could question it, or nobody could change it. Because if I send an NFT to you, some image or something, the coding behind that goes through millions of computers. They all verify that it's original, that it wasn't tampered with, it wasn't corrupted, and then they embed that code in the blockchain, right? And it stays there. It goes into the blockchain. It becomes a block in a chain, literally, like a chain of blocks. And when they add a new one, it goes on top, and it goes on top, and so that one is untouchable. That's the future we're moving into. And as fantastic as it sounds, consider that in 1995 nobody had a cell phone. Consider it by the late 80s, 1980s, nobody had automatic cars. They had stick gear cars or manuals, right? What you call manual. Now you have automatic cars. Consider the world before 1994, 1993. There was no internet. It was a world without internet. So when you look back on the world and how much has changed, somebody put on the internet that everything that we have in life today, including Facebook, Google, and all that, came into being within the past 20 years. And it's true. Google was only 1998 this time. Facebook 2003 or something. Everything within the past 20, the world that we live in today, a lot that we see and we encounter, only within the past 20 years. The cars that we drive. Everything. And so change is rapid, but we never saw it before. Now it's speeded up so much. It's speeded up, it's accelerated. And so that's what I want to leave with you tonight. We're going to wrap up now. That post-COVID is a world that is a brand new space that you can't even imagine, because we've never invented space before. Now we're inventing a brand new space called the metaverse. And within that, the way we would all live and breathe, well, not breathe, we would live and dwell in that space. Education, entertainment, every single thing. Relationships, all of it. And because of that new space, then the way that new space would function, the old world cannot fit into that new space, including money. And so we would be trading our original creations, whatever our original creations are, would become the contracts that we trade for what we want. And it's good. The originality of it would be verified through a decentralized system, a networking system globally that verifies that every original thing that is created, 8 billion people on the planet, 8 billion original stuff would be created or more, right? Because one person might do more. And those things would be tradable, means of exchange. And it's a brand new system, it's a brand new world, it's a brand new humanity. And it's exciting. And we got to get in on the ground floor. I started the show with saying over of humanity have not even heard of blockchain, NFT, cryptocurrency, and this metaverse, the new space that is opening up. And we gotta bring them to awareness of it, because even people in my world don't understand what's going on, and they're completely lost. You can't blame them, right? It calls for deep research. It calls for understanding the internet and how it works. For example, that a new space is opening up, and that new space is defined by a language, which is called binary language, right? Or quantum language, which binary is moving into quantum computing. So I know it sounds complex and it sounds involved, and we don't need to know all these things. My job, our job in this company, is to know this kind of thing and show you the road to the future, and say to you, join us, and let us alter our future. Let us design the life that we think is possible. So I want to leave you tonight with this thing that we're bringing out our own cryptocurrency very, very soon, and I will be asking you on the show to help, make it popular and make it viral, right? So beware of that. Anyway, have a good evening. Christmas is coming up. It doesn't feel like Christmas because of this COVID thing. They're shutting down society and restricting. Every day there's a new restriction coming in Ontario, and globally too. A lot of countries are banning traveling and all that already. By January, the world is in a lockdown because of COVID. But for whatever it's worth, have a peaceful Christmas. And actually, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday. Maybe not Friday because it's Christmas Eve, or maybe we'll see. But prepare for Christmas. Do some nice preparation. Most people will be home, of course, and let it be a peaceful, joyful time. Anyway, thank you. See you tomorrow, and I hope I made some sense to you tonight. Take care. Bye bye.